Hello, this is Anneke Sips. I'm the founder of Network Yoga Therapy, and I'm in Amsterdam, and I'm so happy to be able to speak with Nitya Mohan today. And I would like to ask her a few questions about her upbringing and about herself and about the program that she's going to teach here in Europe this summer. This summer she will come, she will visit a few different cities. And so welcome. Hi, nice to see you, Nitya.
Lovely to see you, Anneke. Happy to be here.
Yes. So you were raised in India by A.G. Mohan and Indra Mohan, your parents, who were students of Krishnamacharya for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
My
yeah.
father, I think, actually met Krishnamacharya when I was 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
So my parents have both been teaching, practicing for over 40 years now. And I think the way I grew up, yoga was more a way of life than anything else. So I didn't know anything else, but I realize now that I'm very blessed and I feel very fortunate to have been given the kind of wisdom and exposure that I got with both of them, teaching, practicing, and learning, because my father learned for over 18 years with Krishnamacharya and till today, of course, practicing and still teaching.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's it is blessing, I think. And you also have one brother.
Yep, Dr. Ganesh Mohan. I think maybe most people in Europe already know him. He's in Europe every year. He teaches the Swastika yoga therapy modules, and I think in Amsterdam as well with you.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. He will be here soon again. So yeah. So you were both you were with two, yeah? So there's one brother, so with four people in the family.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And yoga played a big role in your upbringing, and also sounds, because we are here talking about sounds. Your workshops, your programs will be about sounds. And can you explain a little bit to us how this was important in your upbringing?
Essentially, most wisdom, I think, traditionally was passed on through chanting. The Yoga Sutras, the traditional way of learning of any of the ancient texts was orally, even a few thousand years ago. So my father taught me to chant the Yoga Sutras maybe when I was 5 or 6, I don't remember. Mm-hmm. But we used to learn everything by heart first, because it's much easier to learn, as you know, when you're really young. You put it into your head and then you don't forget it. And then learned the meanings, and the explanations much later on. But I think music also played a very big part in my life, because of course, I went on to do my degree in music, but I also learned music from a young age from my grandmother, my mother's mother, who used to live with us. And she taught me to sing. And later on, as I continued to practice and learn and teach, I found that the links between sound, mantras, asana, pranayama, and all the classical wisdom is extremely integrated. We find mantras mentioned pretty much in almost all texts, all classical texts. The use of sound is quite universal. So that's an area that I really love working with, because it's my passion, and also because I find that it's a very useful link as well in the practice, in the classical yoga practice.
Mm-hmm. And beautiful. Yeah, it's true. It's the sound is you can hear it back everywhere, and it's a very universal thing. Everybody understands sounds, maybe not the meaning of the words, but sounds we do. And so I'm very happy that you will come here to teach us about this. And as I understand, because we talked about it, of course, I understand that you will teach this program in two parts. So one part this year and one part next year. Mm-hmm. And then also this program is made from 4 pillars, or from 4 different perspectives. We're zooming in on sounds. It's like the ancient wisdom, the modern science behind it, the musical side and the integration, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because
And
when we look at sound, there is wealth of wisdom in the ancient texts, whether it is the yoga texts like the Yoga Sutras, or whether it is the classical music texts like the Natya Shastra, which talk about links between emotions, scales and emotions, the links between mantras and pranayama, which are mentioned in most of the classical yoga texts. So there is and the Vedic phonetics, which were the precursor or the source of the Sanskrit language, was basically sounds, so phonetic sounds. So there is a lot of ancient wisdom there, plus the fascinating validation that's happening today with modern medical science, validating a lot of these ancient practices, the interesting discoveries that are being made every day by neuroscience, and the connections between, sound and the vagus nerve and emotional regulation with sounds and those areas, and the musical connections between scales, emotions, universal sounds that we all relate to. And of course, how do we pick from all of this and find what is useful for us? Because at the end of the day, yoga is for you, for the person. So what do
yes,
I take from the ancient wisdom? What do I take from all of these that can benefit me today, that I can bring into my daily practice, whether it is asana, pranayama, whether it's just the way I think, the way I respond, the way I interact, because sound is so primal to the way we express things. And if every thought is a sound, isn't it, in a way?
mm-hmm. Yes.
So in integration of all of this, I think is a very fascinating area to explore.
Yes, yeah, it is. I cannot wait until you're here. Like, I'm thrilled to learn so much more about this. And I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm also curious because of course, it starts with yourself, and I want to learn more about how to integrate it in my own life. But will this program also be beneficial for me as a teacher? Will it help me to teach this subject a little bit easier to my students?
Yes, definitely. As with everything, we start with ourselves and then share it with others. So we will begin with, learning it for ourselves. But of course, the minute you're talking about sound, it is always interactive. So you're always talking about, how it is you can actually help someone, even for example, with trauma, because there is so much of connection between the underlying emotions, even fear, conditioned fears. These are sometimes very powerfully associated with sounds. Sound is something that influences our emotions constantly. And that is something evolutionarily as well that has come in, wired into our system, that we respond to certain sounds in certain ways. So I think exploring, understanding those connections is useful as a practitioner, as a teacher, as anyone who actually wants to help someone else.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'm happy that you are coming, and also I'm glad that it's clear a little bit now more, like from what perspectives that all the teachings will come. For example, will you also talk about Vedic chanting?
Yes, we will. We will talk about the concept of Vedic chanting, what it is for, why should I do Vedic chanting? Should I do it at all?
Yeah.
Or how can I adapt it, for myself? Because there is a lot of confusion as well in the area of chanting mantras. Should a mantra really be in Sanskrit? Can I choose my own mantra? Does a teacher need to give it to me? Can I change my mantra? These are all basic questions, and I think it's important to answer them.
Yeah, and can I do something wrong? I also hear people are asking often, like, you need to understand, otherwise you do something wrong, and that's that's important to talk about these subjects, I think, when you're here.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking so much forward to it. So you will be here in Amsterdam in July, and in the other cities in also in the summer. And all the cities are, I think, on www.swasta.net. You can find all the information, right, on what city, what date.
Sound for well-being. Yeah, if you can look for Sound for Wellbeing, then all the dates and the programs are listed under that.
Very nice. So, okay, it will be also under this video. We will write it down. And well, thank you so much. And see you in the summer.
Yep, see you soon.